So you want to make sure that you have 7-zip on your computer. It works, it's free, it works better than WinZip. So, and I've put the link in the tutorial. So when you open up the download Lab 8, you can open this lab up this way and launch the MXD, but if you do that, ArcMap cannot read through a zipped file, and this is still zipped. So you need to make sure that you unzip this first, or uncompress it. So I'm going to go to 7-zip and extract here. And the nice reason, or the nice thing about that, is that I get a copy. Oh, it's going to put it on my other computer. So it's over here. I have 2 screens going, so it wants to default it to my other screen. So now I have one that's a nice backup that's zipped and the other one that's open. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. Here we go. So now when I open up my Qal data folder, you're going to have a problem because it's going to look as if you've opened it incorrectly. And so what you're going to see is that the table of contents is not showing data that's connected. For some reason, the data folder is not correct. So one of the things I did is, after I made this map, I decided to change the name of the data folder, which now means that ArcMap doesn't know where to find the data. So first thing you want to do is save this as, and I'm going to call it, and I want to make sure it's in the right place. So I'm going to put it on my desktop in my unzipped Lab 8. I want to save it here, and what's nice is that it will show up beside my original. So now I know I've saved it in the right place. Now my data is in the Qal data folder, and so luckily, because I have the data with me, I can repair the data source. So you can open up the properties, and if you look at the data source, you can see that the name of this data layer is River, and the computer thinks it is in a folder called User Songer Desktop Qualitative Data. Well, we know that that's not where the data is, because one thing, you're not on my desktop, and the data folder name has been changed. So we're going to actually find the correct feature class that's called River, that's a line, and reconnect it. So I'm going to choose Set Data Source, and I'm going to go into my desktop, the Open Lab 8, Qal Data, and I'm going to find a file that's a line. So that's showing a line called River. Add that and choose OK. So that went away. So you're going to go through the process of connecting a couple of these. You're going to connect or River or roads. So if I open up the properties to or roads, oh, that's called major roads, and it's a line. So I'm going to go to the data source. There's major road. Is that the same thing? Yes. Okay. I'm going to put it there, say OK, and now my major roads are connected. If I click here, the properties, or the location now is Desktop Lab 8 Qal Data, and then it shows the correct name of the file. River, now when we looked at the name for this layer, it was called River. So if you're not careful, you might try to connect this to the file called River, but actually this is a polygon and not a line, and the original name for this file is Major Rivers. So I'm going to go in here And I'm going to find, oh, there's a polygon symbol, and I'm going to connect major rivers. So you're going to go through and reconnect your data. I'm going to right-click this and do zoom to layer. And so now I've got my roads and my 2 river layers fixed on my map. So I know that I'm on the right track. When you get all of your data layers fixed, you want to go into the map document properties, and you want to store relative path names. So this way, as long as your data doesn't change your relative location, so as long as my MXD is in a folder called Lab 8 and my data folder is the same, I'm going to be able to find my data when I get home. I'm going to go ahead and name this. Let's call it, and you may want to title it later. Because you may decide to do a map of vegetation and not zoning. So let's see, we're going to, the summary is just going to be Lab 8, qualitative mapping, and my name as the author. And I've stored my relative pathways, so that saves that. So that would be the first step.